Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of the MUSpartans.com Spartan Show for the week of November the 21st through the 25th, 2016. On this week's show, sophomore women's basketball players Beth, Schaefer, and Maddy Minehart stop by to look back at the 2016 Mainview Tip-Off Classic, and we welcome in Director of Cross Country and Track and Field Brian Cashdollar and Senior Women's Runner Mariah Jordan to recap the cross country season and the NCAA Division III National Championship. Stay tuned.
Our first guests on today's show are sophomore women's basketball players Beth, Schaefer, and Maddy Minehart. Ladies, let's look back at this past weekend. Two close games with St. Mary's and Benedictine that unfortunately didn't come out our way. What was Coach Zurich's message like after those matches heading into your next couple?
He was happy with the second game especially. Benedictine's a good team and we played them pretty well. And he was happy with just our defensive performance, I think, that game, and we cleaned it up a lot more from how we played on Friday to Saturday. So Friday he was upset that was a winnable game, and Saturday was as well, but we played really well on Saturday, so that was definitely a big positive for him.
And with this event being the kickoff to your season, what does it mean to you guys to have the season start on your home floor?
It was a really good opportunity for us to get everyone out to come watch us our first two games. It was just really fun for us. It was really fun, but we wish we could have won them both, but it was a better environment to have everyone there to kick off our season.
And this is both of your second seasons now as a Spartan. How much more prepared do you feel this year as opposed to last year, or are there any differences in the build-up?
Physically, I think I feel a lot better. Going into this year, I was a little nervous about my conditioning and how sore I would be, but I feel like knowing kind of the conditioning that we did last year, coming into it, I feel better. And I feel like our team, we got to know each other a little bit earlier before we did last year, so I feel like we all get along pretty well. So I do feel better going into this season than I did last year.
And I think that having adapted to Coach Zurich's coaching style has really helped us to be able to advise the freshmen as how to take him and how to I don't know.
How to get better every day, how to use,
Sure.
how to implement what he tells you, and sometimes kind of translate it into something else and use it.
Awesome. Well, best of luck with the rest of your season, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Now it is time to look back at our weekly sports highlights segments. This week we look back at the Mainview Tip-Off Classic. The event marked the start of the 2016-2017 women's basketball season as the Spartans played two matchups against St. Mary's College and Benedictine University of Illinois. The Spartans were upended in two tightly contested battles, falling to the Bells 64-62 and to the Eagles 69-66 on a last-second shot. Sam Bolin was the Spartans' nomination for the All-Tournament team, leading the team in scoring against Benedictine while being the second leading scorer against St. Mary's. Manchester resumes action on the road Tuesday night against Calvin College at 7:30 p.m.
Our next guests on today's show are Director of Cross Country and Track and Field Brian Cashdollar and Senior Women's Cross Country Runner Mariah Jordan. Coach Cashdollar, let's start with you. First, let's talk a little bit and reflect a little bit on the past cross country season. How did it go for the team, and what did you see from a coach's standpoint overall?
I had the privilege of kind of being a bystander with Coach Lambert at the helm. He's done such a great job with the program and developing the athletes and getting two teams that had tons of potential at the beginning of the season, getting them to the championship, ready to go, it was so much fun to watch that happen and to be a part of it. There were times where I was like, I don't know if we're getting there, but Coach Lambert was very steadfast in his thought process and how he wanted the team to accomplish its goals. And he's a patient guy because I don't know if I could have handled it the way that he did. So to be that prepared at the conference championship with those two teams was absolutely amazing. It was fun to be a part of.
Great. So Mariah, you got to go back to the Division III National Championships this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what all occurred around the event, maybe what of extra things went on around the event, and then just a little bit about how it compared to last year's trip?
Regionals was probably one of my best races of my career this year, and going from there I was really confident going into the national meet and very encouraged by all my teammates sending me notes and thinking of me the few days before and then on race day. And going into the race, it was just give it all you got, and it's senior year, so it's really bittersweet just trying to end on a high note. And I didn't end where I wanted, but I was really happy with my season and the past 4 years I've had at Manchester, just the progression I've seen.
So, Coach, now the transition begins for many of your cross-country athletes as they'll start getting ready for indoor and outdoor track and field. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to go into that preparation and what is going to be different about moving forward as they start focusing on different events?
There's not a lot different to the whole process. It's we start with just some meetings, finding out exactly where they're at, where their heads are, if we have any bumps or bruises as we start the transition phase into track and field. The athletes know what's expected of them, and they handle that really well. We have a very mature group on both the men's and women's side, and they'll just go at every day trying to accomplish the main goal, which is to get better every day.
Right. Okay, well, congratulations on both a great season for the team and for you individually, Mariah, and we can't wait to see what happens in track and field.
Thank you.
Now it is time to unveil our Spartan Show MVP of the week. This week we honored junior wrestler Chase Wilson. The 141-pound wrestler nabbed 2 wins at the Milliken Duels this past weekend to be 2-1 on the day, with his only loss in 3 bouts coming when he moved up in a weight class. He had one of 2 team wins against NCAA Division II opponent Truman State and a bonus point win to help beat Calumet College of St. Joseph to mark the program's first win of the season. Congratulations, Chase. Now it is time to take a look at what is upcoming on this week's Manchester University athletic calendar. On Tuesday night, the women's basketball team will travel to Calvin College for a 7:30 p.m. tip-off time for its first road event of the year. On Wednesday evening, it's a clash of non-conference in-state rivals as the Spartans men's basketball team opens its home schedule against Trine University at 7 p.m. And on Saturday and Sunday, the women's basketball team is back in action at the North Park Thanksgiving Classic. Saturday, the women play the host North Park at 2 p.m. and they face off against North Central of Illinois on Sunday at 12 p.m. That's what's upcoming this week in Manchester University athletics.
That is all the time we have for this edition of the Spartan Show. Make sure to stay up to date with all Manchester University stats, scores, and news by visiting www.muspartans.com. Make sure to join us after Thanksgiving break as we will have our final 2 episodes of the fall semester. Thanks for joining us and have a happy Thanksgiving.